What's up, dancers? My name is DancingSheryl. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hello if you are new here. I am starting a new series on this channel, and I'm going to be starting reading some books to you guys. I know for me personally, I prefer physical books over ebooks or audiobooks, and I feel like physical books are not being read as often as audio or ebooks, so I thought it might be a good idea for me to start reading physical books to you guys. And I know for you guys it'll be basically an audiobook because I'm reading it to you and you're listening, but one of my 2020 resolutions is to start reading a book for at least 30 minutes a day, and I have a million books, so I thought it would be a really good incentive for me to start a series on my channel where I read some books to you guys. This is the first one that I'm going to be starting with. It's called All the Missing Girls. It is by Megan Miranda, and I'm just gonna quickly read over the back, and if you guys want to listen, you can, and if you aren't interested in this, then you can click out of the video. It's really up to you guys. An astonishing debut thriller with a jaw-dropping twist. The story is told backward. It's been 10 years since Nicolette Farrell left Cooley Ridge. 10 years since she broke up with Tyler, the man she thought she'd marry. 10 years since her best friend Corin disappeared, never to be heard from again. When the call comes that her father is ailing, Nick is living in Philadelphia, light years away from her younger self. She drops everything to care for her dad, and within days of her return, another girl goes missing, and Nick experiences a terrifying sense of deja vu. As Nick works to unravel what happened to the missing girl, shocking truths emerge about her neighbors, her family, and what really happened to Corinne that night 10 years ago. So that was the back of the book. If this is something you guys would be interested in listening to, then keep watching the video, and if it's something you're not interested in, leave a comment down below just so I know. I have literally millions of other books, so once we're done with this one for this series, then I'll start another one. Here we go. Part 1. Going Home. Man cannot learn to forget, but hangs on the past. However far or fast he runs, that chain runs with him. That's a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche. Don't know how to pronounce that, but I need some water before I start. It started with a phone call, deceptively simple and easy to ignore. The buzzing on Everett's nightstand, the glow of the display, too bright in the bedroom he kept so dark, with the light blocking shades pulled to the sill and the tinted windows a second line of defense against the glare of the sun and the city. Seeing the name, hitting the mute, turning my phone face down beside the clock. But then, lying awake, wondering why my brother would call so early on a Sunday, running through the possibilities. Dad, the baby, Laura. I felt my way through the dark, my hands brushing the sharp corners of furniture until I found the light switch in the bathroom. My bare feet pressed into the cold tile floor as I sat on the toilet lid with the phone held to my ear, goosebumps forming on my legs. Daniel's message echoed in the silence. The money's almost gone. We need to sell the house. Dad won't sign the papers, though. A pause. He's in bad shape, Nick. Not asking for my help, because that would be too direct. Too unlike us. I hit delete, slipped back under the sheets before Everett woke, felt for him beside me to be sure. But later that day, back at my place, I flipped through the previous day's mail and found the letter. Nick Farrell, written in familiar handwriting in blue ink. The address filled in by someone else, with a different, darker pen. Dad didn't call anymore. Phones made him feel even more disoriented, too far removed from the person he was trying to place. Even if he remembered whom he'd been dialing, we'd slip from his mind when he answered, nothing more than disembodied voices in the ether. I unfolded the letter, a lined journal page with jagged edges, his handwriting stretching beyond the lines, veering slightly to the left, as if he'd been racing to get the thoughts down before they slipped from his grasp. No greeting. I need to talk to you. That girl. I saw that girl. No closing. I called Daniel back, the letter still trembling in my hand. Just got your message, I said. I'm coming home. Tell me what's going on. So that was that little intro, and now we're on to day one, apparently. I took inventory of the apartment one last time before loading up my car. Suitcases waiting beside the door, key in an envelope on the kitchen counter, an open box half full of the last-minute things I'd packed up the night before. I could see every angle of the apartment from the gallery kitchen, exposed and empty, but still, I had the lingering feeling that I was forgetting something. I'd gotten everything together in a rush, finishing out the last few weeks of the school year, while fielding calls from Daniel and finding someone to sublet my place for the summer. No time to pause, to take in the fact that I was actually doing this. Going back. Going there. Daniel didn't know about the letter. He knew only that I was going to help. That I had 2 months before I needed to return to my life here. Now the apartment was practically bare. An industrial box stripped of all warmth, awaiting the moderately responsible-looking grad student who would be staying through August. I'd left in the dishes because they were a pain to pack. I'd left in the futon because he'd asked, and because he threw in an extra $50. The rest of it, the things that wouldn't fit in my car at least, was in a storage unit a few blocks away. My entire life in a sealed rectangular cube, stacked full of painted furniture and winter clothes. The sound of someone knocking echoed off the empty walls, made me jump. The new tenant wasn't due to arrive for another few hours, when I'd be on the road. It was way too early for anyone else. I crossed the narrow room and opened the front door. "Surprise," Everett said. "I was hoping to catch you before you left." He was dressed for work, clean and sleek, and he bent down to kiss me, one arm tucked behind his back. He smelled like coffee and toothpaste, starch and leather, professionalism and efficiency. He pulled a steaming styrofoam cup from behind his back. "Brought you this for the road." I inhaled deeply. The way to my heart. I leaned against the counter, took a deep sip. He checked his watch and winced. "I hate to do this, but I have to run. Early meeting on the other side of town." We met halfway for one last kiss. I grabbed his elbow as he pulled away. "Thank you," I said. He rested his forehead against mine. "It'll go fast, you'll see." I watched him go, his steps crisp and measured, his dark hair brushing his collar, until he reached the elevator at the end of the hall. He turned back just as the door slid open. I leaned against the doorframe and he smiled. "Drive safe, Nicolette." I let the door fall shut, and the reality of the day suddenly made my limbs heavy, my fingertips tingle. The red numbers on the microwave clock ticked forward, and I cringed. It's a 9-hour drive from Philadelphia to Cooley Ridge, not counting traffic, lunch break, gas, and restroom stops, depending. And since I was leaving 20 minutes after I said I would, I could already picture Daniel sitting on the front porch, tapping his foot, as I pulled into the unpaved driveway. I sent him a text as I propped the front door open with a suitcase. On my way, but more like 3:30. It took 2 trips to drag the luggage and remaining boxes down to the car, which was parked around the block behind the building. I heard the beginnings of rush hour traffic in the distance, a steady hum on the highway, the occasional honk. A familiar harmony. I started the car, waited for the air to kick in. Okay, I thought. I rested my phone in the cup holder and saw a response from Daniel. "Dad's expecting you for dinner. Don't miss it." Like I might be 3 hours later than I'd claimed. That was one of Daniel's more impressive accomplishments. He had perfected the art of the passive-aggressive text message. He'd been practicing for years. When I was younger, I used to believe I could see the future. This was probably my father's fault, filling my childhood with platitudes from his philosophy lectures, letting me believe in things that could not be. I'd close my eyes and will it to appear in tiny, beautiful glimpses. I'd see Daniel in a cap and gown, my mother smiling beside him through the lens of my camera as I motioned for them to get closer. "Put your arm around her. Pretend like you like each other." Perfect. I'd see me and Tyler, years later, throwing our bags into the back of his mud-stained pickup truck, leaving for college. Leaving for good. It was impossible to understand back then that getting it out wouldn't be an event in a pickup truck, but a 10-year process of ignition. Miles and years, slowly padding the distance. Not to mention, Tyler never left Cooley Ridge. Daniel never graduated, and our mother wouldn't have lived to see it anyway. If my life were a ladder, then Cooley Ridge was the bottom, an unassuming town tucked into the edge of the Smoky Mountains, the very definition of small-town America, but without the charm. Everywhere else, anywhere else, was a higher rung that I'd reach steadily with time. College 200 miles to the east, grad school 1 state north, an internship in a city where I planted my feet and refused to leave. An apartment in my own name and a nameplate on my own desk in Cooley Ridge, always the thing I was moving farther away from. But here's the thing I've learned about leaving. You can't really go back. I don't know what to do with Cooley Ridge anymore, and Cooley Ridge doesn't know what to do with me either. The distance only increases with the years. Most times, if I tried to shift it back into focus, tell me about home, tell me about growing up, tell me about your family, Everett would say. All I'd see was a caricature of it in my mind, a miniature town set up on entryway tables around the holidays, everything frozen in time. So I gave him surface answers, flat and nonspecific. My mom died when I was 16. It's a small town at the edge of the forest. I have an older brother. Even to me, even as I answered, it looked like nothing. A Polaroid fading from the edges in, the colors bled out, the outline of a ghost town full of ghosts. But one call from Daniel. We have to sell the house. And I felt the give of the floorboards beneath my feet. I'm coming home, I said, and the edges rippled, the colors burned. My mother pressed her cheek against my forehead. Corinne rocked our cart gently back and forth at the top of the Ferris wheel. Tyler balanced on the fallen tree, angled across the river, stretching between us. That girl, my dad wrote, and her laughter rattled my heart. I think that's a good spot to stop. So we're getting somewhere pretty interesting in the story. Just started, but it's pretty interesting so far, I think. So having read the back of the book, it says that it tells a story backward, so I am quite interested to see how the book ends, and I'm just really trying to stay in the present and make sure that I'm remembering everything that's going on, although already so much is happening and we just started the book. So that's that. Again, the book is called All the Missing Girls, and it is by Megan Miranda. So yeah, this is what the new series on my channel will be. There will be other series that I will be starting soon, but this is the one that I am really, really excited to start because I love books, I love reading, so I thought it would be really fun to do this. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to go give it a big thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. If there are any books that you would like me to read, please leave those down below in the comment section so I know. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see all of you wonderful people in the next video. Bye-bye.